And on the other end of that argument, people don't realize this doesn't just affect us as security staff. It also affects the incarcerated individuals.
Exactly.
They're being
Exactly.
attacked more. If there's no consequence for them attacking each other, that's a major problem.
Exactly.
This is the People Before Politics show, broadcast every Sunday at 6 p.m. Hosts Damon K. Jones and A.J. Woodson bring you the news that impacts our community. Join us for unfiltered, unapologetic coverage of the stories that matter most. Black Westchester Magazine presents the People Before Politics show, the news with the black point of view.
Israel Sanchez, how you doing, brother?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
No, man. Thanks for coming on, man.
Glad to be here.
So I invited you on, man. We know what are you laughing for, man? Like
Jack's last comment. Last comment.
Eric Adams put white women in their place.
I was just laughing because I was like,
and you know,
Jack definitely has no problem saying it.
Nah, man. Listen, Jack is the 3-star general of Black Westchester, bro. I already named him that. But we got my brother Israel here, who's a retired sergeant, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, retired sergeant from New York State Correctional Facility, and actually he worked at Sing Sing. And you know, it's crazy. My uncle worked at Sing Sing years ago, and then he was the warden at Bedford. Then he ended up doing something else, you know. And I've been meaning to contact New York State to get all my information on my uncle, because he passed 2 years after I graduated the Academy for Westchester Correction. He passed away, and so I understand it. And being retired correctional officer, I get it. And we are the most under-respected body of law enforcement in New York State.
Can I say one thing real quick? I wouldn't be remiss if, and I know this has nothing to do, but since you said Sing Sing, a brother I went to high school in Mount Vernon, he did 17 years of Sing Sing. He changed his life around, got into Shakespeare and stuff, came out, wrote a screenplay called Sing Sing the Movie, and is nominated for an Oscar tonight. You know what I'm saying? Like I just right. Really needed to shout that out, because that's going to happen tonight. Now, just the fact of where he came from too. And Damon, he was our real life Omar from The Wire. That's who he used to be back in the days. He was getting it in. So he did 17 years, and he's a nominee for Best Adapted Screenplay for Sing Sing the Movie. So I just wanted to shout that out, because that's going out. That's happening today, and y'all talked about Sing Sing, so I just wanted to shout him out.
Okay,
right, but we're talking about the conditions.
No, I got that. I just wanted to.
We're talking.
Sing Sing.
We're talking about the conditions that correctional officers face, and I know a lot of state correctional officers, man, and but brother, just let the people know, because sometimes, you know, outside of TV and plays, like, people don't really understand the life it is of a correction officer when you go behind those doors and work every day.
We're demonized by a lot of people in society who really don't understand the good that we actually do in there on a daily basis. Like, I've saved many lives in my 26 years doing that job, you know, whether it was from suicide or drug overdoses. People don't hear about that. You know, I saved the same person twice in 7 days.
Wow. I believe it. And what are the conditions that the officers are striking over?
Well, since the pandemic, and this is about 5 years ago, we started to have a staffing crisis. We were getting mandated to work. People were sick. So you had a lot of staff either quit or retire from the job because they couldn't take it anymore. That snowballed into what they're dealing with today. It's even worse. They're being mandated to work 16 and 24-hour shifts just about every day.
Really?
Yes. Every day. They're so short of staff. And the state of New York has done nothing to remedy that situation. This governor went live on TV and said she didn't know why we were striking, what our issues were. We've been going over these issues with her for 5 years. She knew what we're out there for.
Right.
Then to make matters worse, our commissioner gets on the news earlier this month and says 70 is the new 100, meaning 70% of staff is the new 100%. That to staff, that meant, you know what? They're never going to remedy this. We have to do something.
Right. Let me ask you a question, because I know with our facility, right, even though the population is down, I was told that there are state mandates of another number of officers you have to have in a facility, determining the beds, not the number of inmates. So if you have, let's say you have a 750 population, but your bed count in the facility is 3,000, you still have to man it as it's 3,000. You understand what I'm saying? So does that work with y'all?
No, and we're actually 100 below the number that we're supposed to have as far as officers. Yes.
So they're violating their own state mandate.
Yes, they are. And like I said, they've done nothing to remedy it. Nothing. Nobody wants the job anymore. I can't even recommend the job to anybody I know. Wow. This governor, in her last proposal, she proposed a $1,500 bonus if we could recommend anyone to the job and they clear probation. I don't know anybody I could recommend a job to.
Wow. Because I know before I retired, we was getting a lot of officers from state coming to Westchester County.
You're going to continue because these counties, they make more money, right? Listen to the reality of this, right? They make more money, right? Some of these counties, they're giving them a bonus to leave the state to go to the county, right? They keep their retirement time and they're close to the home and they're not getting mandated to work every day.
Exactly. Yeah.
Who wouldn't take that deal?
Exactly. Damn, I didn't know it was that bad, bro.
I just lost one of my officers, 3 years on the job. Really good officer. He got hired by one of the counties upstate. He's close to home now, about 10 minutes from home, making more money, and he's not getting mandated every day. Come on, man. Who wouldn't turn that down?
Yeah, you're right. So like what has been the response from the state? Like, so who do y'all negotiate with? Do y'all negotiate with like a certain appointee of the governor, or you negotiate with the governor herself?
With the governor's office. We've been in talks with the governor's office discussing these issues for 5 years. And like I said, they've fallen on deaf ears. What she did was, in this last proposal, she threw us some money, like money is going to cure this. Right. You could give me $1 million, and if I'm not safe every day, I don't want to do that job.
Right. And how many officers per inmate on a housing unit?
On a housing unit?
Yeah.
If you're in one of the big blocks, right, you're talking about 2 officers per 110 inmates.
Say that again. Wait, what?
On a big block, on a big gallery, let's say a big gallery, you have 120 inmates on both sides, because there's 2 sides of a tier, right? And you have 2 officers, right? But only one officer is up there regularly because they pull the other officer to do other things like escorts, medication runs, things of that nature. Whatever else the incarcerated individuals need, that second officer, he's doing those tasks on a daily basis, running recreation, running gym. So a good portion of the day, there's only one officer on that gallery dealing with those individuals.
And how many inmates again?
He said 2 to 100
on 2 sides, 60 on one side, 60 on the other side.
120.
120.
120. That's double ours. And you're right. So if you got 2 officers, they're going to pull it. So it's one is one officer. And this is this is the thing I used to say to a lot of the reformers. I said part of the issue is that you only have one officer working the block. whether it's 60 or 120, that's a lot. That's a lot for one person to do. I mean, we do it.
And
We
then,
do it.
take into consideration all the other duties that came with HALT, humane
Exactly.
alternatives to long-term solitary confinement. The state of New
Exactly.
York passed this legislation knowing we were shorthanded, and they did nothing to hire staff to do these extra duties now that are required by law.
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
I found a quote from one of the correction officers that was striking. He said, because of the state's inability to get more people on the job, they have us working 16-hour shifts mandatory, 24-hour shifts mandatory, and it's hurting us. We need the state to understand this is serious. Our safety is in doubt. Every day we walk inside those walls and have no idea what we're going to walk out. When we're going to walk out. Oh, if we're going to walk out the same way we walked in. That was one of the quotes from Danny Texador. He's a correction officer they quoted in the Low HUD story.
Yes.
Yeah, they got one story where the National Guard said that it's worse than Afghanistan. It's just what see people. I think, man, like,
and that wasn't. I'm sorry, that wasn't and it wasn't an exaggeration either. I was in Iraq in 03-04. I was there for the ground campaign. I'm going to tell you, after we built up the country, after 6 months, I was living better out there than some of these troops are living in the jail.
Wow.
This other part that I want to read from the article: Governor Hochul files injunction under Taylor law to end strike. Just before 4:30 Wednesday, Governor Hochul announced New York filed an injunction under the Taylor law, and a judge granted a temporary restraining order mandating striking correction officers to cease the illegal activity.
Yes.
Now,
that's
talk
like
about the Taylor law
that's
for
crazy.
people that don't know what the Taylor law is, Israel.
The Taylor law basically forbids public employees from going on strike. And if they do, there's penalties and all type of things that come with that.
Right.
Like these guys that are out on strike, the penalty is going to be 2 days for each 1 day they took off when they actually return to work.
Now are they calling in sick, or are they just like, we ain't coming to work?
It's a little bit of both.
Okay. Yeah, because we used to do like the little blue flu, like people just don't come use up their sick time and stuff. And
then you have some that are legitimately out that are on workers' comp because they got hurt. The department is ordering them back to work when they haven't even been cleared to return to work.
Wow.
You have some that have the Family Medical Leave Act that are out on that, and the state is mandating them to come back to work, which is illegal, by the way.
Right. Absolutely. So what can we do, man? Like what can people, family members or correction officers, whether they're active or retired, what can we do to help y'all guys get what y'all need?
We need to all continue to keep this pressure on our legislators.
Okay.
They're the ones that can change this. They have the power to change this, but they need to know how this affects us.
Right.
Everyone should be reaching out.
Right. Okay, great.
And
man.
that goes for all our listeners. That goes for everybody who's a voting member, who's a registered voter. You have the right to say, you elect the people that are in there that are making the decisions.
That's
and
right.
we say that with everything. So if you feel like this is something that you do not agree with, you need to be vocal. You need to contact your state your state assembly persons, your state senators, and you need to let them know that you are not feeling this. They I don't know how often they're up for re-election, but they got elections, and if they want their seat back, and enough people say, "Yo, we're not with this. You're gonna have to change this. You're gonna have to give them what they want, or we're not voting for you," you will get their attention, like in everything else.
And on the other end of that argument, people don't realize this doesn't just affect us as security staff. It also affects the incarcerated individuals.
Exactly.
They're being attacked more. If there's no consequence for them attacking each other, that's a major problem.
Exactly. Everybody's in danger. Everybody's in danger.
I retired 2 years ago because I didn't feel safe in there anymore. I felt we were going to lose one of these jails. I didn't want to be there for
Wow.
that.
Wow.
That's how bad it is. That's how bad it is.
Wow. Yeah, we got to bring more attention to this, man. We definitely. I mean, look, a lot of times when incidents happen that are bad, it gets more attention than the actual safety and security of the facility. And I think we have to talk about both. When people cross the line, well, we have to, because the thing that happened to that young man, the correctional officers I saw, I was disgusted. But as we know, man, there's a lot of good officers that go to work every day, follow the rules, do their job, come to work on time, don't call in sick, just trying to feed their family, man.
The fact is, right? I'm sorry not to interrupt you,
Yeah.
but the fact is that most of us that go in there every day, we're negotiators. We
Exactly.
negotiate so that things don't have to get that bad. Right? There have
You're
been
right.
plenty instances where I've talked individuals down so it didn't have to lead to a use of force.
Exactly.
And most of
Exactly.
us do that on a daily basis, multiple times.
I say that all the time. I said, I was on the police reimagining the police committee for Westchester County, and one thing that we recommended that they never followed through with is that when the police are in the academy, they need to come in the jail for 2 weeks and learn how to speak and de-escalate with the mouth, because they will find themselves that they're able to do that like we do, because we don't have guns and tasers and none of that stuff. So we have to use our brains, and if they do that, you will find that there will be less questionable incidents and shootings and all that, in the communities, because the officer will be trained to use his brain more than the gun or the taser or anything like that. Because
Are there some states that require that? That require the the officer to start out as a CO and before they go into the street?
Well, Florida Sheriff's Department.
Right, that's what it was.
In Florida, the Sheriff's Department, but they work in the street and in the jail. But you have to do 2 years in the jail before you go on the street. So by the time you get on the street, your mindset is a little different in de-escalating and dealing with use of force than it is as someone that is just a regular police officer. How you deal with situations, like I would never think of shooting a guy with a knife. I would think about beating his ass. Because he actually pulled a knife out on me, right? You disrespected me like that. I wouldn't even think about shooting nobody with a knife. Never.
You know what? I want to say something on a personal level. So we went somewhere, Damon, me, you, your wife, I think Andre Wallace or whatever, a local establishment, a big fight or whatever broke out. Somebody got stabbed, and I actually watched you for the first time in your professional capacity de-escalate the situation and take control of it before the New Rochelle police officers even got there. You had already de-escalated the situation on the scene. You had already kind of like got control of the situation. And then your wife, she's a detective. Y'all already had control of the situation before.
That's when whatchamacallit got stabbed. And rendered first aid because part of his gut was hanging out his goddamn, while everybody else was screaming, ah! And part of his gut was hanging out of his stomach. And I got the knife.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So when the cops came, when the New Rochelle Police Department, Damon was like, okay, arrest that one. The knife was under his foot. This one, he's back. Like basically he had control of the situation already, and he de-escalated. And I personally saw this in real time because I'm not in the jail with Damon, so I'm only on the outside. I've never seen what he go through on the inside. I've never seen him in action. But I saw him at an establishment. I saw him in action. And I can attest to, I've been in situations like that where the police come You know what I'm saying? And the situation looks a lot different than when that's
and it was funny because the guy was like, yo, that's my knife. And I put my foot on the knife. I said, come get it. I said, come get your knife. I said, come get it, because I'm giving this to the police. Come get your knife.
Jack Toon said, Damon, de-escalate? You sure? But I'm just saying, like, as a personal, like, I personally witnessed that, and I've seen the interactions, many interactions with police encounters and situations like that. And I saw the de-escalation that I don't always see. I'm not saying no cops do this, but I'm saying I don't see this as often with police, and I seen that, and I guess that comes from you being a correctional officer again, and you having to do that inside because you don't have a weapon. And I just wanted to bring that out. And the reason it's important to have this show, you know, when we read about these situations and we hear about these situations, I'm not in law enforcement. We only hear what the media is saying. We only hear what there's usually no face with the correction officer. There's usually no what the correction officer goes through. You know what I'm saying? Just like, you know, with police, me and Damon had to explain to people, when the police stop you, the first 30 seconds, they don't know what they're walking up on. So you have to be, and it's important that we have these conversations so regular people like me get to understand what I hear it every day with Damon for the last, whatever many years. I've known him since the 90s. So I've been hearing this for the longest, but most people don't get to hear that. And you put a face to that. And I think that's why it's important to have you and have this conversation.
Yeah. Jack Toon asked, he said, what is the average salary for a state correctional officer?
You know what? I couldn't even tell you what the starting salary is. I've been retired and out of the loop. I'd be lying if I gave you a number, but it's available on the civil service website. And I know we're making less than all the other counties in New York State.
Yeah. Well, that I do know. I do know that. Because I had talked. I don't know if you know. He actually came from Sing Sing. He was on Orange Crush. Virgil Smith.
So according to
I know.
Yeah. He came. He blames me because our ex-wives, right, were partners in probation, and we went out to dinner, and he always tells his story. We went out to dinner, and I'm eating, and I said, "Yo, man, how much you make?" He told me. I was like, "Yo, dude, you need to come to us." And then I told him what I made, and he was like, "Damn." And next thing you know, I popped up and I go on the briefing and he's standing there. He's standing there. But then, he had to adjust because he whipped a couple of them supervisors' ass. He brought that state attitude, and some of them wasn't ready for it. But I mean, we lost a couple of state guys because they just couldn't. It was a different environment.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
It's definitely a readjustment. I've heard it.
Yeah, I just looked it up. I just looked it up for Jack. It says the starting salary for New York State Correction Officer trainee is $56,465.
Yeah.
I'm looking at that, but it's dated 2022. That's why I didn't want to give you that number.
Okay, that's what came up, because I put starting salary for New York State. That's what came up.
Yeah, we're 3 years past that. It's a little bit more, not much more than that number you're looking at.
Right.
And then I'm looking somewhere it says up to 75K. So I don't know if that's more current.
Yeah. Well, the average law enforcement department now is making over 100K a year, top pay.
Well, in this article it says 59, almost 60,000, and after 1 year, 72, almost 73,000.
Yeah, so they're about 40,000 short.
So you see where our recruitment problem is, right?
Yeah, because I think correction now in Westchester County is about 110. Top pay.
I always tell the story. I always tell the story. So, I used to write for all these music magazines and stuff, and me and Damon. So Damon used to come with me all to a lot of events and stuff. So they're having this listening party for the rapper Beanie Siegel. He's in jail, but his mother and everybody's there. And Dame Dash, the character that's with Jay-Z, he's a flashy Harlem dude. And Damon is sitting in there with his phone, his two-way pager, his jewelry and everything. And Dame Dash is like the whole time, like looking at Damon like, well, who's this dude? Like he was paid because Damon looked like one of the rap executives or whatever. And that was from corrections. You know what I'm saying? That was like, this is like, but so you know, that was from corrections. And he looked like when we would go to these places, he looked like one of them, like a Dame Dad, like one of them rap execs with the jewelry and all that and everything and the phones and all that. He was, but his was legal. You know, his was from a legit job.
From working.
Yeah.
You know, from honestly working, man. But yeah, listen, man. Whatever we can do as Black Westchester, man, please let us know, bro. Like, well, whatever you need to get out, let us know. If there's any statements from the unions or anything.
Yeah,
You got my number. Yeah, you got my number, brother.
Great.
We'll post it. You know, we'll definitely post it because, you know, correction officers need to get the respect, and which they don't. Whether it's even in the county, and Rikers, forget about it. Like, state, like we really. I remember there was a coalition when Norman Seabrook, they had started a whole coalition. Then after Norman Seabrook went to jail, the coalition like fell apart. But, you know, I think it has to happen, you know, and if the union president is not willing to speak truth to power like it needs to be spoken, then, you know, I think the retirees need to, you know, do what they got to do, and really call a spade, and maybe, you know, Hochul need to be this would be her last term, you know.
I'm hoping you're right.
Yeah, the sentiment. No, man, listen, bro. If the state correction officers, if the county correction officers get together and block vote, it will be her last.
I was gonna say, do you know what a big block of votes that is? Do you know?
I've been telling everyone that that's what we need to do. Get our families and friends out to vote.
Exactly. Yeah, they gotta start. Look, there's one thing. When I was a union delegate for 13 years, and Joe Spano, who is now the commissioner in Westchester County, he was the union president. And one thing that he stressed, and the union lawyer at the time, Robert Goodstein, God bless the dead, they specifically said every delegate needs to be a registered voter, no matter what party. And at that time, when I started in 1990, everybody was down with the Republicans, believe it or not, right, in Westchester County. And it was like, everybody register. If you already registered, fine. If you're not registered, make sure you register as a Republican, because right now they're our friends, right? And the crazy thing about it was a block vote, man. Like, you had to be invested. You had to be invested in your politicians, because those are the ones that give you raises. Those are the ones that vote on your health care, your dental, and your safety. So, you know, if you're a state correction officer, I don't give a shit, even if you're a county correction officer. And if you're not vested, and a lot of times with the county, a lot of us don't live in the county that we work for, right? But you do live in the state. You do live in the state. And when you see state correction officers that are going through this, y'all need to block vote with these state correction officers.
Definitely.
Hochul should be gone. Hochul should be gone. I ain't telling you who to vote for, but I'm saying you shouldn't be voting for Hochul if your brothers and sisters, correction officers, are going through this under her administration. That's the only way politicians learn is when they lose. That's the only time.
She's not doing anything for
When they
anyone.
lose.
That's right. She got to go.
But
Exactly.
I want to also say, not only just the correction officers, I want to speak to the registered voters of New York State. Like, again, I'm not coming from a law enforcement, and I know, being Black, the stigma of law enforcement and everything like that. But just think, if your job made you mandatory work 16-hour shifts or 24-hour shifts mandatory, just how effective would you be? Like, you would be up in arms. I don't care what job you got. You know what I'm saying? If you went into work and you just had to do like double shifts and triple shifts, like, you know what I'm saying? It was mandatory and you couldn't go home.
That's right.
You understand? And that was the rule of you would have a problem. I mean, I don't care if you're a banker, if you the postman, whatever you do, the garbage, whatever you do, if you had to work straight 16-hour shifts mandatory, you would be up in arms. And regardless of what you think about law enforcement, that's bullshit. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like, that part, I don't know any nice way to say it. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm just like keeping it real.
This is a job where we're required to be alert. How alert can you be when you're that tired?
Absolutely. And Damon also often made a good point when he was still working. Like, a lot of some officers were making the comment that correction officers are not law enforcement. Like, cops, right? Y'all do your job to get the most dangerous people off the street, the people that you deem the most dangerous. This is what I got from as a citizen. You guys are in there the whole time with these people that are deemed too dangerous to be on the street. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's who you take. Once the cop arrests them, the cop's job is done with these people. Y'all have to deal with these people over and over, day after day, that is supposed to be too dangerous or whatever to be on the street. And y'all have to deal with them. And that's just something that you, like, I mean, that's a perspective from being around Damon and interviewing and talking to a lot of correction officers and stuff. Like, I didn't see that side of things until we started doing this. You know what I'm saying? And again, I am speaking specifically from someone who has never been in law enforcement. You know what I'm saying? Who had a healthy disrespect for law enforcement, because I've been on the other side of a whole lot of stuff as far as law enforcement was concerned. So I ain't have no respect for law enforcement as a whole when I was younger. But when you hear that though, it's just like, you have to understand what y'all have to deal with. You understand what I'm saying? Day after day with these people that cops and citizens who call the cops feel these people are too dangerous to be in the streets, to be in society, and y'all have to deal with these people every day. And y'all don't get the respect. Y'all do it, unlike cops, without guns, without tasers, without all of that stuff that cops carry. And the odds that y'all are in there, Damon was saying 2 with 60. You saying 2, almost 1 with 120. Like, your real talk, like, if 120 people decide to charge you, I don't care how much of a badass and what's taekwondo and all that shit you think you know, you are not fighting 60 people. You know what I'm saying? You're not fighting 60 people by yourself. You are not. You are not. At some point, you will be overtaken. You understand what I'm saying?
I started this job in '96 when the prison population was very high.
That's when David started in '96.
That's right. As a rookie, I seen 300-something incarcerated individuals in the yard with 3 officers. One of my senior officers was attacked and carried out on a stretcher on one of those hot summer days. 300-something inmates with 3 officers. That's what we face daily in the prison.
Yeah,
the majority of them. There's a lot of them that want to do their time and go home, but you have some that are never going home and they just don't care about nothing.
Exactly.
Society don't realize we have to deal with that person.
Exactly.
So Jack, so you working 16 hours, 24-hour shifts, and you can't find anyone to come through the academy. What's the answer?
They have to. We want pay parity with the other counties that are hiring our guys away. That's number 1. Number 2, It has to be some type of incentive to take the job. They're force feeding these guys overtime, and they're not even going to get the benefit of enjoying that when they retire, like I did. My tier, we were allowed to work overtime, and the overtime counted towards our retirement.
Oh, that's
These
right.
new-
It doesn't count to the pension.
no, these guys, because of Andrew Cuomo and pension reform, they don't get to enjoy that money. They're being force fed all this overtime, and when they retire, they're basically going on their pay plus 10% of their overtime they worked. That's horrible.
Yeah. So, brother Dal Roberts, and I don't know, I'm not sure what time you came into the show. I spoke on Robert Brooks, and I don't condone all that. And what I saw on that video was a bunch of cowards. And if I was an officer there and I walked in there and I saw how that dude had his foot on his neck, I would have knocked his fucking ass out. Like straight music.
The officer.
Not
right,
Robert Brooks, the officer.
No, I just want to be clear before somebody.
Yeah, I would have knocked his ass out, because that's not what you do, man. And not for somebody, he wasn't even 100 pounds, bro. Like, come on, man. Like, you know, we have to have some type of decorum and character ourselves. And that's in brother Israel, your character and who you are. It's what helps you have control of the block.
That's right.
If they think that you're an honorable person and you treat everybody equally, helps you control the block.
Definitely does.
You know, because I used to tell the cats, you want me to treat you like an inmate or treat you like a man? It's all on you. I could do both good. I could do both good. I could treat you like an inmate, or I could treat you like a man. I suggest you choose treating you like a man. You know, and I would tell them straight like that. And then other inmates will co-sign, yo, he's not the one. He's not,
exactly.
Yo, bro, he's not the one. He's not the one. Oh,
exactly.
You talking all that shit because you got a body alarm. No, bro, I don't wear a body alarm. Because we scrapping, bro.
Right. Listen,
you know,
when I used to walk on the tier, the incarcerated individuals that have been there for a little while, they let the new guy know, listen, leave him alone. Don't bother him, because if you need something, he's going to be the one to make sure that you get it if you're supposed to have it.
What? Man, like, it's so much control that you do have over a person. And you want to treat and the goal is to treat them like a human being. Now, yeah, there's some officers that come on that run a block, and they're really horrible how they treat people. Yeah. They are those that are like that. And but at the end of the day, they don't have great days.
That's right. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. They don't. At the end of the day, there's always something going on their block. Right? You know, here we go. Right. We gotta go up. Right. We gotta go up here with this dude. Right?
Right. Yeah. Right? It's true. It's true.
Always something. It's always something going on in their block.
Yeah.
It don't matter. Every day, the captain or sergeant's coming out. Yo, I need y'all three to go up to B block. Who's working B block? So and so. Oh, here we go with the bullshit. Right?
Yeah.
But that's who they. You know, that's how some people rock.
That's right.
You know, and then some people rock. They come to work. They just want to do their 8 hours. They want to treat everybody like human beings, right? They want to give you what you're supposed to get legally, you know, and they want to keep it moving, you know. But and then there's some asshole inmates too. Like, we all human beings. There's some that oh Lord, I gotta deal with this dude. Is always gonna be something. You know, but if you carry yourself a certain way and you act respectful and you got that history, even with those dudes, they become respectful.
Yeah, eventually they come around. Yeah.
Yeah, eventually they come around. But first, they ain't got no choice. they don't have no choice.
That's right.
You know, either you're gonna act by my rules. I don't care what the officer did yesterday. I don't care what the officer did on the 311 shift. I don't care what that. I'm here today, and this is how this 8 hours is going to go, or this 16 hours if I got to stay. This is how it's going to go. You know, either if you don't accept it, I suggest you go in your cell or go in your bunk and read a book. Or now, last time I was in the county, they was giving them little tablets to watch movies and stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. They got them upstate.
You're right. Go get your little tablet and go and go in your bunk for the rest of the day.
Yep.
Because we're not going to be having all that. And it's and that's the way you gotta run a block, man. You gotta run a block. But people don't understand that. And then to do it day after day after day after day, sometimes 16 hours a day, sometimes even on your days off, you come in because you need a little extra paper, right? And day after day after day, it takes a toll, and nobody talks about the mental health toll, on correction officers.
It's draining. And we have a low life expectancy because of all the stress.
Exactly. That's why I got the hell out at 55.
You and me both. That's why
our life expectancy is 58. It's
right.
5'8" and 12. Right now, I've been out almost 2 years. I already beat one hurdle because they said what? No, I'm almost 18 months after retirement. Right. So I just beat that hurdle. Right. I just beat that hurdle. God bless. Now the next one is 58. I want to beat that hurdle.
Yep.
And people don't know. Like 18 months, your lifespan is 18 months after retirement, and nobody's talking about it.
That's right. And then the state of New York is the only one that benefits when you die that early.
Exactly. Exactly. That's why I got out. Help get on my Pelotons and work out because I listen. I'm trying to stay alive, man, because my uncle passed away from diabetes, complication sickness, diabetes, exactly 18 months after he retired.
Wow. Yeah.
Because when I found out that statistic,
all these guys getting stuck every day. They can't even keep doctor's appointments.
Exactly.
How can you when they're taking your days off also? How can you keep a doctor's appointment?
Wow.
I wanted to go back to what Jack Toon said. He's like, what's the answer? And you were talking, and I was like, speaking from experience, living in a city like Mount Vernon, the lowest paid police department in the county. Not no more. Well, they were for years, for a long time. And we had mass exodus because of that. We had they were going to all the other municipalities because of that.
And you still have mass.
I remember it.
My brother, Mayat, he said, I think we lost the concept of being fair, form, and consistent. You're correct. Give them what they got coming, and you'll be fine. No, and you're absolutely right, brother. But
most of us do that daily.
Exactly.
That's what we do for 8 or 16 hours a day. Fair, firm, and consistent. That's a fact. The only time it changes is when the incarcerated individual changes. We don't control that. We treat everybody fairly. I can honestly say in 26 years, I treated everybody fairly in there.
That's right.
I treated them the same exact way they treat me.
That's right.
I was gonna say, you can't, just like in the street, you can't get mad when somebody decides to match your energy. That's the energy you brought.
Exactly.
Just like in the street. Just seriously, it's just like in the street. Like I had an incident. Somebody, it was just verbal, but I matched. I'm like, yo, whatever you give me, I'm gonna match your energy. Now you can't. I can't be the bad guy because all I'm doing is matching your energy. You brought that energy to me. You understand what I'm saying? Like I'm matching.
That's why I said. You want me to treat you like a man, treat you like an inmate.
Exactly.
See, because I could flip and treat you like an inmate. It's and it's a totally different way than I would treat you like a man. Right. So that was that was the way I expressed myself to people when I'm like, yo, dude, like you're crossing that line, bro. Like I'm really trying to show you the Christ in me, even though I work in a place that's crazy. I'm really trying to show you the Christ light in me, but you don't want to accept that. And it's really unfortunate. Come on, y'all. Y'all know there was a lot. Well, hey, listen, man.
It's just bad. You know what? Let me just say that before you say that. Every job, right? That's what I'm saying.
Every job has people that shouldn't be there. Right. Even there's bad accountants, there's bad everybody.
That's
Every
right.
Bad
job, there's
bankers, bad people in the
That's
post
right.
office.
exactly.
You know how many stores or banks that I walked into with people working there with bad attitudes? When I get somebody that has a great attitude and they like
Right,
their job, I thank them for that. You know what I'm saying?
right,
Because not everybody is that way.
right. But here's the problem with all that. Police, all that is the process of weeding out those bad apples that they fail the process. You know, and even in corrections, there were those that made the academy, but even the academy instructors like, yo, I don't know about these 5 or these 10, right? And then they baby them, and then you create a monster. The same way in the police department, when you look at a cop that under questionable actions, and you look at his record, there were signs all the way to that point where it got real crazy, but there were signs that nobody paid attention to. The same way with corrections, the same way with police departments, and the same way in the military. It's the same. We gotta have a process to weed the ones that don't want to be there. And a lot of times well, there is processes, but people don't want to pay attention. There is process, but people don't want to pay attention because a lot of management in law enforcement, as long as nobody's dead, they ain't changing nothing. It's all who you hire. See, we vote for the politician. The politician appoints commissioners and all those people. And a lot of times they're political appointments. People don't even know what the hell they're doing. They know right? Yeah, right. They got a favor from this one that gave them $1 million, a favor from this one, and they put these people in. Westchester County, their first deputy commissioner, even though she's a lawyer, she was a damn GED teacher. Her first deputy commissioner for Westchester County. I remember her when she was teaching GED in the penitentiary. Now she's the first deputy commissioner.
Yeah, crazy.
This is what happens.
It does.
This is the type of people that they appoint. Because somebody that gave them money knows somebody that need a damn job.
Yeah, it happens. Yep.
You know, there's a discipline. The process takes a long time due to due process. Yeah, and that's true too. And that's true too. But there's ways around that, brother. There's old school ways around it. You know, we sometimes some people don't want to do it and some people don't. You know, but until we get people in charge that are actually in their heart about corrections, about police, and we ain't playing this political monopoly with people's lives and putting people that shouldn't be there, it ain't never going to change. But it's up to us. Start voting people out. That's what I told the people in Mount Vernon. DOJ come in and say that your police department has been violating black people. And if the mayor's not going to change it, you vote her ass out. It's nothing personal. But the police commissioner works at the will of the mayor. And if he's not capable of doing the right thing, then either she replaces him or she goes with him. The power has to be back with the people. Don't wait till the summertime when they give out some free fried chicken and pizzas and burgers and shit.
That's right.
And your children being violated, your grandma being violated. And you turn your back for some goddamn cookouts and barbecues and shit and some slidey fucking houses and that bullshit. We got to get it right, man. We got to get it right because most of these jobs, especially corrections, is black and brown people. Black and brown people, historically in New York State. And we get treated like shit.
dumped all over, man. We
by
get
other law
forgotten about.
enforcement sometimes.
Yeah, we get forgotten about.
I said even by other law enforcement.
Exactly. Motherfucker tell me I ain't on the job. I said I could do your job. You can't do mine.
That's right.
Fucking state trooper.
I hear you.
You
Yeah.
can't do my goddamn job. I could do your job. Driving up and down the fucking highway, I could do your job. You can't come in. You can't come into jail. Take your gun off.
No.
Some of these cops got it twisted. Some of these cops got it twisted, man.
Unfortunately, yeah.
And that's what I'm saying, man. They need to come in and do 2 weeks. But you know what? We made the recommendation and the county never followed through with it.
Yeah.
They never followed through with it.
No.
They never followed through with it.
Either that or during their curriculum in the academy, have some correction officers come and teach them how to de-escalate, how to speak to people.
Exactly.
You know, sometimes they use trigger words and they don't even realize they're doing it. You know.
It says can they get their GED, college degree, care about the retail? Yeah, man, they care about the rehabilitation of the inmate more than they care about the correction officer.
That's right.
Yeah, and that's the God honest truth. More they care about the correction officer.
That's right. And society only sees one side of the story. Like I said before, they don't see all the good that we do in there, you know? They don't hear those stories.
Exactly. Now I support rehabilitation. I support getting your DED. And if you upstate long enough, if you doing them 10, 15 years, hopefully come out with a damn college degree. Shit. You ain't got nothing but time, so you might as well be doing something for yourself. But at the end of the day, your safety and security is us. Your safety and security is us. Definitely. So you can go get your college degree, but if you ain't got correction officers making sure that you get from one place to another safely,
that's right,
you're gonna have a problem. Same way people in the street have a problem when they don't have enough cops.
Mm-hmm.
And they getting mugged, they getting robbed. Right? All that happens in the jail. You could get mugged and robbed in the jail.
Definitely.
Straight music. And raped.
Oh, yeah.
If you ain't got no correction officers around.
That's right.
Especially since all the muggers and robbers, that's why they in there.
That's right. That's right. Or if that same CEO can't pay attention because he's tired.
Exactly. Listen, I asked somebody, they said, because we talking about solitary confinement or restrictive housing, right? And they said that's inhumane. So I said, okay, what do you do with the rapist or murderer when he commits a crime out in society? You arrest him and you put him in jail because he did what? He broke the laws of society, the laws, right?
That's right.
I said, the jail is a society. There's rules and regulations in the society of the jail. So what do you do with the person that creates crime in the jail?
Mm-hmm.
You just gonna keep them in the housing area, like keeping them in the city of the people, or are you gonna separate him because he's a danger to the actual population, the other inmate population? You have to separate him.
Right. Can't behave around others. Yeah, there should be an area for you. By the way, that was my job for the last 5 years before I retired. I was the special housing unit sergeant.
Really?
Yes. So I got to implement all those changes that came with HALT.
Man, by the time all that stuff come, I was so senior, man, I wasn't even working the block. I wasn't, I'm be honest, I wasn't working the block. But, you know, I'm just happy they ain't have Doge when I was working, because he would have sent the email like that. I couldn't fill, because I wouldn't be able to fill out what I did for the day.
No. Imagine that.
Exactly. But people got to understand, man. Like a lot of people. Is it Damon? De-escalate? You sure?
Yeah, you said that again.
Yeah, man. I was good at de-escalating because I had a history, and even when you get older, thank God your history follows you, because I ain't feel like fighting them young boys,
That's
18
right.
and 19,
Exactly.
18, 19 years old, man.
Right.
Oh, wait. Oh, man. Hold on a second. We got to bring in my man. There he is.
What's good, my brother?
Brother Conrad.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but yeah, brother, I mean, whatever we could do, man, we're here.
That's what I was going to ask you. Is there anything we didn't ask you that you
figure
want?
that out. Let's see.
Is there anything we didn't ask you that you want to articulate about what's going on, about the situation? Is there anything we didn't ask you that people can do? Is there any work? I want to make sure you got everything out that you need to get out.
The most important thing, like I said earlier, was stay in contact with your politicians. When they pass a new legislation, everyone has to read these bills before they become law, because they were trying to expand the whole legislation prior to this strike, and I think the strike is pretty much ended the expansion of it. But there were bills pending where they wanted to expand it, add more stuff to give more rights and privileges to the worst offenders. What are we doing?
Right. Well,
I'm gonna be honest. Like I told Damon. So in the late '80s, I used to be a rapper. In the late '80s, early '90s, they had a program where they were bringing artists to the correctional facilities to perform. I guess it was, I don't know if that still goes on or not, but it was. So I was in the Brooklyn House of Detention, and I'm gonna tell you, after spending a couple of hours there, I'm glad there's jail. There were some people that I was like, I was glad that there is a jail. Like, I'm gonna be honest. And some of them were like, "Oh, we're a big fan of yours." I'm getting out. I want to know where they live, where they hang out, because I want to make sure I was not in those areas. Wow. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not saying everybody, but there were some individuals like, "Ooh, yeah." There are some individuals who should be incarcerated. That's all I'm saying. That they're and like I said, as an artist, we there, and we have protection, but we're amongst them. Like, we're not really separated. You know what I'm saying? We're around them, and I'm just like, they can talk to us and everything. And I'm like, yo, there was a few people. I was like, yo, thank God for jail. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yo, there's a speech with Martin Luther King saying the same thing, bro. He talking about how he visited the prisoners, and he's like, man, y'all. He said, man, y'all need to praise these correction officers. He's like, y'all need to praise. He said, man, I pray for them correction officers. He talked about the same thing. Talked about the same thing.
The Pope has come to the jail to see these guys, and they curse him out.
Really?
I'm like, yeah. I'm there. I'm standing next to him, and he's like, well, they're not here for being angels. I said, that's right.
Wow. That's crazy, brother. But yeah, man.
It was the Archbishop, not the Pope. The Archbishop.
Listen, man, stay in touch, brother.
I definitely will.
Once my foot get better, man, I'm gonna come out on the line with y'all, man.
All right.
Yeah, I want to come out there and tape it, man, and support your guys, man, and share, and share what y'all going through, man. So definitely we'll stay in touch. Whatever, anything new, if you want to come on and give us an update of what's going on, man, bruh. This is your show, man. All right.
Thank you so much. I'll definitely be in touch, because I'll be honest with you, I don't anticipate that things are going to go really well when these guys go back to work.
Okay. All right. Thank you, my brother.
I'm not saying that from our side, but everybody in there is upset.
Yeah. No, they have a right to be.
Yeah. No, they do. They do.
They have the right to be, man, and give everybody our support, man. Tell them Black Westchester, man, we support them, man. We support them.
Thanks so much. You guys have a good night.
All right, brother. Take care, man.
Bye.
Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Black Westchester Magazine is the news with the Black point of view.